Football is back starting tomorrow. We have all of the WRL draft dates and times for you, and we have the 101 on registration and the FSA Sunday ticket for you tonight. All of this and more in 20 seconds. Hey fellow fanatics, welcome to the Fanatically Real broadcast, sponsored by Sport Management Solutions, your one-stop shop for all your athletic communication needs. Hanley, I see you out there giving me a woo. Let me get you on the screen there real quick. I would say that this is probably the most difficult thing to get right for us before we go live. Jason called me up probably at about 8:11, so what does that work out to be, like 19 minutes before we're about to go live? And he's like, hey, you need any help? And I'm like, no, everything seems to be working fine. Erica out there with us as well. Hey, Erica, how are you? I said, everything seems to be working fine. And he says, do you have a little green bubble to be able to put people's chats up there today? A little green bubble meaning that it's good to go on our little setup. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. No, but I've been passing messages over all day for testing purposes. Well, those messages that I've been passing over are just kind of local to show up on the screen. And I think that's testing good. That's not testing good. With 19 minutes to spare, Jason come in with the for the rescue again, and here we are. We're able to get the chats up there, but it's becoming frustrating and aggravating to not be able to figure out why it's not working. But it is what it is. So hey, we are here tonight. You heard the agenda at the top of the show. Let's show you what it looks like for tonight. We do have the WRL draft dates for you. We're gonna give you a calendar of all four of them to kind of visually see what's going to happen, and then we'll give you a little bit of a breakdown for each one of them as well. We're going to talk about the FSA Sunday ticket. We said last week that we were hoping to be able to show it off to you, but we didn't have it all 100% set up because we were spending so much time getting OBS ready for it. Spent the last couple days getting it ready for you all tonight. That's probably going to be the majority of the show. So if you're out there, I'm hoping, what's Jason say? Jason says, only FSA thing I am number one at is comments on YouTube. That's awesome, Jay. So that will be the majority of the show. So if you're out there watching right now, I don't know how many visitors we have because usually on StreamYard I'm used to seeing it, but I'm not sure where to find it on the setup now. Jason, another thing that you can help me out with that you're number one at. But that would be the majority of the show. So if you're here tonight and you're watching, make sure you pay attention to that part because it's going to be major helpful for you for a couple of reasons, and I'll explain it whenever we get there. But the Damian Gratz out there with us as well. What's up, brother? How are you? The one thing that we want to talk about, the first thing we talked about at the top of the show was tomorrow is football's back. Finally, we got the Hall of Fame game tomorrow, first preseason game of the year. It is going to be Detroit versus the LA Chargers. You will be able to watch it on NBC. So if you're one of those people that only has network television, you will be able to watch it. Got my Hall of Fame hat on. Jason probably remembers whenever I bought this thing. We were together at the NFL Hall of Fame whenever I got it. So great trip, great little thinking down memory lane there as well. It was a great trip. I got a picture over there hanging on the wall of us while we were there too, my friend. I'm trying to get on my screen set up here so I can make sure that I'm monitoring everything that I need to. All right, so first thing we want to talk about is so we already talked about Hall of Fame game tomorrow, Detroit versus LA Chargers. You'll be able to watch it on NBC. Football is back, and happy for it. Yeah, man, I swear. So for those that don't know, Damian Gratz is the general manager of the San Francisco Giants in our APBL, the baseball league. And he is my kryptonite, man. He beat me last game of the regular season last year. And then he beat me in the championship game last year. He was my first loss of the season this year in week 5. And then he just clobbered me last week again to the point where, and we're not supposed to be talking about baseball tonight. That's Friday night. We are going to do the 7th inning stretch. But he beat me so bad that I only scored 160 points, and it was the worst output for my team in its 2-year history. So I just cannot get away from beating this guy. And Ferguson out there with us tonight saying draft dates, the season approaches. Yeah, man, we finally got them all locked in. And I want to say locked in loosely because the Krakens is still a little bit iffy, but we'll talk about whenever we get there. And we will be talking about this as well. The APFL roster cuts, we do have that on there as the agenda down towards the bottom before we talk about what the next broadcast looks like. You definitely have my number, my friend. It is true. That loss to you also gave me more losses for this season than it did all of last season. So I only had 4 losses last season. Your loss this past week gave me my 5th loss. So that is very true. Let's see. Jason says, stepped away. You talked about the Hall of Fame game. Yes, I did. Hall of Fame game. That is happening tomorrow. We are finally back. Football is back. That's what I'm talking about, Paul. Congratulations. Aloha or Ola from your future Floridian. What? So I saw you asked earlier Bucks or Jaguars. I figured that's what you were asking for. Just got to let me know which way we're going, man. And I will be there. Hanley, of course, being a big Lions fan, saying he's going for the Lions. So this would have been one of those nights that I probably would have the hat on because we're getting ready to go into Thursday Night Football. And I would normally pick the winner. But I also don't care about preseason football, so that's why I don't have it on. I figured with it being the Hall of Fame game that it was more appropriate to put that hat on tonight. And we're getting way off talking, man. I love you all, but dang, let's get to this agenda. So first thing I want to talk about is the WRL draft date. So whenever I said that there is going to be an overall schedule, this is what I'm talking about here. So it's a little funky to look at because the graphics program that I end up using Box Out to be able to do this will not allow me to have spaces in there. So, you know, you would normally have the 28th and the 29th probably on a row below the 23rd and 24th. So to give everybody kind of a snapshot of what it's going to look like when we get into draft season, first in the chute is the Red Dragons. They are going to draft on the 23rd, which is a Saturday, and that's going to be at 4 p.m. East Coast time. Cerberus will be next. They will be on Sunday, the very next day at 2 p.m. East Coast time. Then we have a couple of days before we're back in the chute again for more drafts. The next one will be the Loch Ness Monsters draft. That will be on the 28th, which is a Thursday night. That will be at 7:30 p.m. East Coast time. And then the very next night, Friday, just before we go into Labor Day, will be the Krakens. That's at 7 o'clock. We kind of put, I think, all the meat on the bone for that one today. It was kind of in between what we're going to do at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. I picked 7 o'clock because I don't want it to go too terribly late. But I also think that's late enough to get all of those people that are not in the same time zone, everybody that's west of us. So I think 7 o'clock is pretty good. We will find out after everybody watches this tonight, and I send the email out tomorrow. There will be a league-wide email that will go out with all of these draft dates and times on it. I feel like that's when I'm probably going to finally start getting some pushback from it. But there we are. Let's see what I missed here. Jason said, football is back. Go Bucks. I've been watching some Tom Brady YouTube videos. He's actually pretty good at it. You could have moved your face up to the top. Nah, man, I don't want to put my face on there. As much as I can have, the least amount of my face on this video as we can get is probably better for everybody. Hey, how are you? I see you out there. You only say Brady's the GOAT because you're a Michigan fan, and I'm a Michigan fan too, and I can't stand Brady, but that's a topic for another day. Okay, so we already went through the full schedule, what you just saw for the WRL draft dates. What I wanted to do is I kind of wanted to break it down a little bit, and as you can see, they're scrolling across the bottom there as well. So if you're missing it, come back to this later. You can watch it. The Red Dragons draft date to make it or emphasize it just a little bit more for you all. There it is. It is the 23rd of August at 4 p.m. East Coast time. Take a picture of it with your brain, blink your eyes, put it in the database of your brain, and then also pay attention to the email that's coming out tomorrow. So there is the Red Dragons draft day. Let's go down to the Cerberus and show it a little bit more fanatically. They are going to be on Sunday the 24th at 2 p.m. East Coast time. Let's get the Loch Ness in there as well. Loch Ness are going to do theirs on 28 August. Again, like I said, that is on a Thursday evening, 7:30 p.m. And then let's get the last one in there, the Krakens. Again, this is the one that we put a lot of meat on the bone today. I kind of picked 7 arbitrarily myself, even though we had thrown it out there at 7 or 8 o'clock at night because I wanted it to be done early enough so anybody who might still be getting ready to travel the next morning or even that evening on Labor Day can be done with it, and then it's still late enough that we don't miss any of our West Coast friends that are in that draft. They will be drafting on the 29th, which is Friday at 7 p.m. East Coast time. Yes, I want to make sure I put this up there. So Hanley has said that he will be broadcasting the Kraken's draft like he did last year for his region. He will open it for anybody who wants to join in there and chat. So that was a good time for everybody. I will be there as long as you'll have me in, as long as the rest of the crew that comes in doesn't overcrowd the room and that you can get me in there. If you can, cool. If not, also cool. So let me see if I can get my screens going here correctly, so we can get this next part. So the next thing that we got is the FSA Sunday ticket. So I want to bring that up to everybody. So for those of you that did not get to see this last week, we kind of scratched the surface at it. I want to full on take a bite out of this and show you what this is about. So the FSA Sunday ticket is our season-long game this year that has a prize at the end. The prize will be you will get a free entry into the WRL League next year. And like I said, I said this last week, there's a very good possibility that we are going to raise the rates because MFL is raising the rates, and we're still going to probably use them again next year. And we need to be able to offset that cost a little bit. So this is a good time for you to get in and play this FSA Sunday ticket, which is a pick'em contest, but it has a little bit of a twist to it. We're going to talk about that in a second, but first, to be able to even get into play this FSA Sunday ticket, which is a pick'em contest, you need to register for the website. Now, I'm going to do a step-by-step here in a second with it up on my screen to explain to you how that's supposed to happen. But I also need to explain something to you because Kevin and I had a great conversation today about this, and I want everybody to understand this now so they're not frustrated with this next year. The website that we are currently working off of and the Pick'em game will be on is our sub-server. It is not the actual server that is holding the website, iPlayFSA.com. That we are on a test website right now. In 2026, everything that we do in 2025 will go live over in 2026. I don't know how much of the data from the tables in the sub-server I can push and move over to the true server when we roll over to the new website. So that means there is a possibility after you do the registration this year that you might have to do it again next year. But twofold of why you want to register this year. First, it's the only way you're going to be able to play the Pick'em game. And second, this is allowing all of you to basically be my beta testers for everything that we're trying to do with the website in 2025 to get it ready for 2026. That includes all of the information that's going to be passed back and forth between the website and MFL through API calls. I have built so far everything that we can build with what we're working with MFL so far. We basically can't do anything else until the first snap of football for the regular season on 4 September. Once that happens, we will be able to build more pages. I will be able to come to you and say, hey, this feature should be working now. Go out and give it a try. And the reason we're doing that now on the test site is in case we have any bugs that we need to work through. We have 2025 to work through all of them. With that, if there's any suggestions by anybody like, hey, we should change this, we should add that. This is a feature that we use on MFL. Let's add it to iPlayFSA, or this is a feature that we have on iPlayFSA. We don't ever use it. Let's take it off. Let's make it streamlined, effective, and efficient. That's what I want. So that's why you want to register. So saying all of that, let me get you over to, and let me make sure I'm doing this right. Awesome. That worked out perfectly. Okay, you don't have to see my face anymore either. All right, so go to the website. If you don't know what the URL is for the website, I will give it to you over on Discord after we get done. Here is how you're going to register for the current website. You will go and click on this blue little hamburger menu right here. you will come in here and you will go to register. You will put all of this information in there. When you come in to this portion right here that says basic member, that's what you want to do, is just put in basic member for right now. Eventually, these other things that you see on there, the FSA Plus member and the league member, are going to do other things. Right now, they don't do anything. That was more of a, hey, we're getting ready for some other things that we want to do. So we kind of got it. They're basically placeholders right now. Jason, I appreciate that. I don't know if this will pop up on the screen. It does. Awesome. Cool. I will get to it in a second, so hopefully you think it will still sound awesome and that you love my face. So you're going to come in here and you're going to register. You're going to fill all of this information out. After you get done registering, you have to let me know, and I'll take this off of the screen for a second. You have to let me know that you've registered. We do not have it so it's self-aware enough yet for it to say X has now registered, X is now connected to their FSA teams, whatever league that happens to be in. So what has to happen for now is you register, you let me know, hey, I've registered. Then I go into the FSA admin pages and I connect you with all of your FSA teams. So right now, that is the WRL, the APFL, and even the APBL. If you play in any or all of those, after you let me know that you've registered, I will go in and connect you to those. Why is that important? So once you're connected and you come back in and you log in, and I will log in real quick, you're going to end up getting two features that you don't have if you're not a registered member. Let me hit enter and log in and I'll show you. Probably should have, oh, shoot. Let me log out, put it back on the screen so you all can actually see. Sorry about that. All right, so after you've come in here and you've registered, you're going to come back over here and log in. I'm going to show you what to log in. Okay, so before I do that, what I want you to see is, see this portion of the website right here after the word contact? There's nothing out here in the menu after the word contact, okay? This is where it's important that whenever you log in. So let me get logged in. And then here's where the magic happens. After you've registered and I connect you and you log in, you get a couple extra menu items that come up. My dashboard being one of them. My dashboard is going to be where you go and it will show you all of the teams that you're connected to or that I get you connected to for all of the leagues that you're in. So I'm going to show you what mine looks like right now. Cincinnati Reds is my APBL team. The New York Wings is my APFL team. The Monarchs is my WRL team. The Nightbreed is my former WRL team. Any of the teams that you've ever been a general manager for will show up here. Now, only the ones that you're currently participating in, of course, are going to be the ones that are active. As you can see that we have no records or anything like that because this will be the 2025 records that are on there. But as you can see, the Cincinnati Reds already do have information being pushed over to it right now. So that is one of the items that you're going to see when you log in after you've registered. The other thing that you're going to see is this FSA Plus, and this is where the FSA Sunday ticket comes in. So eventually, that FSA Plus is going to be behind a paywall for other things that we're going to do with the website. We have big plans for all of that stuff. But for now, I needed a common spot for all of you to go to be able to do the FSA Sunday ticket. So what you'll do, once you've registered, I've connected you with your teams, and you log in, you'll come to FSA Plus. And this is going to take you to, right now it's called NFL Confidence Picks because that's kind of what we were using as the name as Damian and I were brainstorming this. Now that we've kind of put a name on it, which is FSA Sunday Ticket, I will come in and get that changed. So again, like I said, this is a pick'em-like contest. The additional part that goes along with that is not only are you picking who you think is going to win, you're also going to add confidence points to that pick. Here's what that looks like. First, let me back up for just a second and I'll take this off the screen so you all can see my mouth when I say this and my eyes so you know how important this is. This is only going to be for Sunday NFL games. So anything played on Thursday night, Saturday during the season, Monday night, they do not count. Any games before 1 o'clock on Sunday. So let's say that we start getting into the international games and those start getting played at like 9:30 in the morning our time or something like that. Those will not count. here's a couple of reasons why we did that. It goes deeper into the database than me just being able to say, blah, we're not doing it. But the reason being is to get it to work in the database, we would have to set a date, time, start for each game for each day. So let's say Thursday night kickoff is at 8:30. We'd have to set you have to have your lineup in by 8:30. But then we'd also have to set it where you cannot make any changes to the Thursday game while you're inputting your Sunday games. And then the same thing again if you were going to input anything onto Monday. So to try to make it fair across the board and to make it easier for the database, it's a kind of like a one-stop shop for everything. So as you can see, I'm going to put it back up on the screen now. In this area right here, the week 1 deadline to get your picks in is September 7th at 1 p.m. That is the 1 o'clock games on the first week of the season. Again, the Thursday night game is not going to count. As you can see, we have 38 days until that kickoff is. So here's where the confidence points comes into it and why that was so important when I say that. There is only 13 Sunday games in week 1 to start off the season. There's the Thursday night game and the 2 Monday night games. So there is 13 games on Sunday. Yes, explain that all right. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick the team that you want to win the game. So let's say we want Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win the first game. Okay, so we click on Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I'll just scroll down here and we'll show 2 of them at the same time. That way you can understand how this works. And I'm going to pick Cincinnati Bengals for game 2, okay? So here's where the confidence points come in. You're going to pick this and you got to drop down. Because we said that there was only 13 games that are being played on the first Sunday of the season. That's why you see the 13 down to 1. Now, each one of these confidence points can only be used once. Kevin and I noticed today that whenever you pick one of them, even though it does shadow the number a little bit, it doesn't really make it drastic enough for anybody to probably know that that one's already been used. I think that's probably just an easy cascading style sheet thing that I can remove or change, and then it will be good for everybody. So I'm going to say that the Tampa Bay and Atlanta, I feel pretty confident that Tampa Bay is going to win that game. So confident I'm going to give it the most points. So I'm going to put 13 on there. And what I just realized was that animation of the menu there does not show up while I'm doing this live, which is really interesting that it doesn't do that. So I'm going to put 13 on there, and then when I go to click on it again, which of course you can't see for some odd reason, the 13 is a little bit grayed out, so you can tell that that one's already been used. So the Cincinnati and the Cleveland game, I don't feel as confident about that. I'm going to give it a 6. And then you go all the way down until you've picked every single one of your winners, and you've put a unique confidence number next to each one of them, and then you're going to hit Save My Picks. And what that does is that will then write to a database under your user handle, and the database will know you were the one that made those picks and what your picks were and what your confidence points were that were put on each game. Then what I have to do is on Monday, after the games are over, I will go through and in the FSA admin page, I will click who won the actual game. And then that will get written to the database. And then when you go to the standings page, which there will be a weekly and a season-long standings, you'll be able to see the points that you gained, and you'll be able to see the points that everybody else that you're playing against also gained. Now, when Jason and I tested this a couple of weeks ago, Jay, I think it was, like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, we realized that we don't really like the way the standings page is presented because let's say I scored 59 points. And I thought that was a really good week, but somebody comes behind me and scores like 71 points. Well, I want to know who the heck that they picked, that they were able to get so good, and how many confidence points that they put on there. We don't have that ability right now. It's basically just, here's your total points for the week. Here's your total points for the season. You can't see what anybody else picked. So that's one of the first features. So, Jason, are you not seeing it because that's how OBS is referencing the page? And I don't know if it's just that. I honestly believe that it is a screen thing. Like, I don't think it's just an OBS thing. I think anytime that we would do anything on camera or through a streaming software and we did a menu like that, it doesn't show. Just a weird thing. As long as you all can still see me, because that entire time I had that page up, I couldn't see the YouTube stuff in the background, the YouTube studio. So let me know if we're good still. But where was I at? Jason completely distracted me, but in a good way. So it will know. I will go in and I will put who won the game. It'll do the calculations. What I want to do is I kind of want to get a week or two of it done and then have you all come to me and say, hey, Commish, I think you should do this. As far as standings go, I think you should do this. The pick'em page isn't the prettiest thing in the world. Let's do this. I will tell you, like I told Kevin today, what you're looking at for that pick'em screen is like the 12th or 13th iteration of that screen, because that is as good as I could get it, and then had to move on to the next project. Now that that's been done for over a month now, I want to think Damien can tell me whenever he gave me the first idea for it, and we got it done in like, I don't know, we had it done in like 9 hours, and then we put some more features to it over the next 6 days, and then, we just tested it. It was very ugly. It's not as ugly anymore, but I know it can be improved. And since we ended up doing other projects after and got better with database programming and a couple other things, I think that can be improved on. But it's functional for now, and that's what we want. So go back through all of that again. I will pop it up on the screen to show you the things that I need you to do. Let's see if I can get it to pop back up. There we go. Perfect. So first thing that you need to do is you need to come in here and you need to register. After you register, you got to let me know that you have registered so I can connect you to your teams. Like I said, it serves a couple of purposes. It'll allow you to get to my dashboard, and it'll allow you to get to the FSA Plus, which is where the FSA Sunday ticket is at. Do those things for me. I'm hoping that there's enough people out there watching tonight that will register and will be like, hey, I've registered, and I can start working on all of that stuff tomorrow. In addition to those of you, I'll pull the screen right back up. I'll put it back on home, and I'll pull the screen up because I want to show you all something else that I'm going to be working on tomorrow as well. So you all see this, right? So one of the things that we've been working on is these all-time records, right? So click on all-time records. We'll just go to my team because I have the most data that's on there. We'll go to the WRL team. We'll go to the Nightbreed. Nightbreed shows my all-time record on here, right? If you scroll down a little bit further, you can see that it's up to the 2013 season. So there is nothing past 2013 right now. I took a little bit of a break from that because I started to find out that even though this has been a wish or a want all of these years of being able to have that all-time data on there, that maybe I didn't keep the best individual game data all of these years. I always thought it would be good enough for me to have the standings at the end of each week and what the playoffs look like and who won the championship. But as I'm doing this now, that's not good enough. So started to dig around to try to find my 2014 data tonight so I could work on it tomorrow. My new goal was to make sure that anytime I have downtime that we're not working on something else, that I can start putting more historical data in there. I don't have anything for 2014 that's easy to look at. I have a 2014 schedule that is completely blank. Found this. I found the standings for each week up until the first 8 weeks of the season, and then my standings get a little funky looking from weeks 9 through 13 or whatever it was that we did. You got to remember, this was 2014, so we're talking a decade ago. So I'm piecing it all together, using the standings, knowing how many points everybody scored in week 1, and putting it here on the schedule to get my wins and losses, and then put it in the historical games in the FSA database. And I'm going to continue doing that. It's going to be a pain in the butt, but 2013 was similar. 2014 is even worse. But I've got 2015, 16, and 17 sitting here on the floor in notebooks next to me with scores, game-by-game scores. So, yes, you're right. And you know what's so funny? I might have found a notebook that has the original Tecmo Bowl stats in it from back in the old Bo Jackson when they only had like 8 teams, I think, on the game. I think I found a notebook the other day that still has that in there. But anyways, 15, 16, and 17 are over here in the notebooks next to me on the floor. So those will be easy to get through. And then we started using MFL in 2018, so everything will be online for me to be able to grab. So I'm going to get through this 14 stuff. That'll be part of it tomorrow, my goals, along with anytime any of you tell me that you have registered, I can link you to your teams in our database. So that is it. FSA Sunday Ticket, register, get you linked to your teams. You can start picking your games. One other thing to go along with this is I just mentioned the picking of the games. As you saw, the clock that was on there was winding down to the 1 o'clock on September 7th, that first Sunday of football. You can make changes to your pick'em all the way up until that time. So if you pick and then all of a sudden you feel like something in your hearts of hearts say, I think the other team's going to win, or I think I put too many confidence points on that game, I want to switch those out a little bit. You have all the way up to 1 o'clock to make as many changes as you want. Every time you submit, it overwrites what you had put in there before. So make your changes all the way up until 1 o'clock. You're good to go. Let's get to, because Ferguson mentioned it, let's get to the APFL roster cut date. You're going to see it come across the bottom there nice and slow. So the NFL will be cutting their rosters on the 26th. So we will be cutting ours the next day on the 27th. And if I remember right, that is a Tuesday 26 and a Wednesday 27. It is. We will have to have ours in by 8:30 p.m. Remember, we have to cut our rosters down to 18 in the APFL, and then we will open it up for everybody to feeding frenzy for players that they want on the waiver wire after that. Gives us a whole, I think it's 28 and a half hours after the NFL makes their cuts, because I think it's at 4 p.m. the next day for everybody to get their rosters cut. And it just so happens that because we say 8:30, that is a Wednesday night. We will be doing this broadcast again on the 27th, and we will be talking about all those APFL roster cuts. So that will be a fun show. That is it. Next broadcast, we are going to do a 7th inning stretch Friday night, the 1st. It will be at 7:10. That is an off time for us. When I went and looked at the MLB schedule today for East Coast games, 7:10 is the start for the majority of them. Kind of a little bit different since we've been doing it about 7:15, I think, 7:25. So 7:10, a little earlier than normal. And then we will be back for this broadcast, the Fanatically Real broadcast, on the 6th, a week from tonight. So hope that you enjoyed the show tonight. I want to say thank you to our sponsors, Sport Management Solutions, our title sponsor, and to the Recast, the official music of FSA. If you liked tonight's show, please go out, like, subscribe, do all the things that you've got to do here on YouTube so you know when we're going to be live the next time. Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok. They're all right there in the corner. Let me point over there. They're right down here. They've been down here the whole show. Make sure you go find us on all of those. We will be back Friday night. If you have any questions about registering, logging in, the My Dashboard, the FSA Plus, please hit me up on Discord. I'll be happy to help. You all have a great evening, and we will see you on Friday night.